approving Trustmark because we are dividing those accounts.
That's not, is that in the minutes?
It should have been.
Let me check it real quick.
It should have been.
Now, you have something way back under J4, J something, way down, as the old folks say, way down yonder
J32.
in the package.
Yeah, but this is just approving what
Yeah,
happened.
now, we approved that one.
Yeah, we just approving the minutes. If we're gonna change something, we can vote to change it today, but we don't need to.
Let me ask Ms. Hughes, she caught.
Yeah, we approved.
If I may, at the board meeting last month, the board approved an RFP for the depository for Trustmark Bank. However, there were a couple of questions after that RFP was voted on. And so instead of approving that RFP tonight, we went back, looked at the RFP and said that it could be awarded to multiple vendors as it was advertised.
But that won't change the minutes.
Correct.
We're approving the minutes right now.
If you approve the minutes, then you are in essence awarding the depository to Trustmark Bank.
Correct.
What we do is a motion to reconsider the vote by which it's approved at the last meeting.
But we can do that now.
Is that what I'm looking at the agenda and there's a J32. Is that something different?
No, it's one depository is $1.50, the other one was 3%.
That's correct.
Yes, ma'am.
But y'all
I don't know
haven't-
anything else, but I know
It hasn't been
finance.
executed, so as long as we vote on it tonight to change it,
Mr. Chairman. Yeah.
correct?
We need to move to reconsider the vote by which you.
Before we approve the minutes,
Before you.
we're approving
The
minutes.
the minutes are what you did at last month's meeting.
That's why I'm saying, we
Oh,
approve
okay.
the minutes. If we want to reconsider the vote, we make a motion to reconsider
But
the vote.
is it I just want to know, is it the agenda item that's listed as J32, or is that something we need to add to tonight's agenda for discussion? Because we certainly need to bring that up on the point to
Is it
reconsider.
J32, is that what it is?
Yes.
Yeah, it's way down.
So we need to pull J32,
When you get to it, yeah.
as I look at Jim.
That's way down.
So now we want on this approval.
I have a question. I don't remember voting on one bank or the other.
Consider.
What was the date of that vote? And I want to see how I voted because I don't remember.
We voted on that last meeting.
Yes, June
It's in the
29th.
minutes, but we're going to revisit that.
Good.
Okay, so,
Mr. Joe, I think it was a unanimous vote, if I remember correctly. It
So-
was a
I
unanimous-
don't remember voting on it. So I want to know the date that I
It
voted
was the
on.
last.
It was the
meeting.
29th.
Yeah, I'll get that for you.
All right,
29.
good.
Go ahead. That's-
board members,
I think, Coach.
You got a question?
Motion
No.
to revisit.
no, we're going to approve the minutes first, and then we can do that, but that's already on the agenda, so I think we're getting,
That's right. If J32 is the item for that reconsideration, then that's fine. If not, we need to have a separate.
she just said J32 was the item.
Yeah,
It
okay.
it is that item because it's talking about the bank accounts and then they want a separation of duty of the bank accounts from what I just read on this J32 that I just received tonight.
Okay, yeah, and I saw, I think this must have been added late.
Yes, sir.
Why don't we do this? Why don't we move to approve the minutes? Let's go back to the agenda and let's add a separate item here at the beginning of the meeting for the discussion on the reconsideration of the vote for the approval, even though, because this may come into some other things down at J32.
I so move.
All right, so what are you moving? Because
I think he's moving to,
so,
you've already approved the
Well, we've already adopted the agenda. We got to go back and rescind that adoption.
or you can just add to it right now, motion to amend the agenda.
make a motion that we amend the agenda to reconsider the vote on our, awarding our financial depository services.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
And so let's take that now before, because you're still voting, you haven't voted on the minutes yet.
No.
You did, you got a motion, I don't know if we ever got a second on approving the minutes, so that motion died for lack of a second.
Right.
So we're on the agenda item, we've added that to the agenda for tonight, now let's
Yeah,
take,
and we're going to add it to where?
I'd add it right now. Let's go ahead and address that.
All right, so
That's J who?
J32 is already on the agenda.
Yeah.
Yes, already. It's-
We're taking this out of order, we're amending the agenda for tonight to make this new point on the
So where are we gonna
reconsideration
put,
of the
since we're
vote.
amending the agenda, it has to be a number and a letter on the agenda, so where is it?
Just make it D,
Two.
1A.
D1A. Okay,
Or C2, either one. C2 or C2 is fine. Let's put it there.
C2.
All right, so I need a motion to,
Well, we have an item on the agenda, which is C2, which is to reconsider the vote. Are we gonna get presented the information now?
I
This
think
now
that's-
time for discussion on that
I think
item?
that's the time. Yeah, you're at that place on the agenda.
We just made this way.
all right, so item C2 is, do we have documentation to back up what we're talking about?
On it, which, all we needed to do was pull our trust mark, but anyway, it's on J32, we have divided up the accounts.
J32, that's what I got
Divided up the
to find.
accounts, we met with them and talked and reconsidered. Ms. Hughes, if you want to address that anymore.
Do we need to, okay,
All right, here's, I'll try to make it clear. We're on this agenda item, which is the reconsideration of the vote that you approved last month. Now, I think, Mr. Superintendent, or Mr. President, or Mr. Hughes, one of y'all explain why you want to reconsider the vote, and then you need to take a vote on that, to reconsider that vote and change it if you want to, if that's the desire of the
okay,
board.
so this is a
cannot find it.
reconsideration of the vote from last, okay, I'm with
From
you.
there.
We're not taking action
Why
on
can't I
J2,
find it?
J32 right now.
Correct.
Okay,
Now
gotcha.
you're getting an explanation as to why you need to reconsider that vote.
All right, so if someone, Ms. Hughes or whoever, can explain to us why we should reconsider the vote from last month.
Last month, we presented 2 bids to the board for approval, or a bid for approval. Trustmark submitted a bid in saying that they would offer the district 1.5% on all of its accounts and waive any fees related to services the district may need. Cadence Bank submitted a RFP as well, and they proposed 3% for any accounts that are held at Cadence Bank. But the services were 50% of all services that they would render when we come into the banking institution. So, after the vote was taken, Cadence Bank presented its case before the superintendent and I. We went back and reviewed the RFP, and the RFP said that we could in fact award the banking accounts to 2 or multiple vendors. So after having a discussion with Cadence, seeing that the disparity between the 1.5% and the 3%, we decided at that conversation, the superintendent and I, that we would offer Cadence Bank 3 of those accounts and let 9 accounts remain at Trustmark Bank.
So was there I'm sorry, go ahead, Jim.
Yes, ma'am. Ms. Hughes, let me ask a few questions, if I may, please. At Trustmark, if I heard you correctly, because sometimes I do get confused, kind of like up in Washington DC, all of them old, I'm old too. You said it's no fee attached to the 1.5%.
That's correct.
Okay, now, with the 3%, the accounts, and I don't know which accounts they are. I can't find, I saw it earlier and I've lost it. The 3 accounts that you spoke of, is there a fee attached?
The 3 accounts that we decided to transfer to Cadence do not have that many transactions. Neither would it require any of the school personnel to travel to their bank to make deposits each and every day. So when we thought about where to consider how to split these out, we thought about locations and where teachers or school personnel would be coming from to make their daily deposits. If they were at Warrington and needed to come into town, Cadence Bank only had 2 locations. And so we decided if the locations were not convenient for any of the schools, then those accounts that would be convenient would remain at Trustmark Bank. Those that have the primary functions and necessary things that we need for the teachers or the school personnel to make their deposits each and every day. As well as Cadence Bank said that they would assess a fee if any of our personnel were to conduct business at the teller window. Being that we did not know how many transactions we would have each and every week or day, we could not determine how many fees or how much fees the district would incur if we were to transfer all of the accounts over to Cadence Bank. So the primary accounts that have the most activity, we decided would remain at Trustmark. Those that have minimal activity, we decided would go to Cadence Bank.
Ms. Hughes, okay, let me ask my question one more time, please. Are there fees attached to the 3 accounts? There's some type of fee, correct? Will the fees outweigh the 1.5% that we're going to be getting on the money?
Based on the illustration that we received from Cadence Bank, the 3%, Cadence Bank estimated that their fees per year would be 50% of $9,000, about $4,500. He also estimated that if we were to move those accounts to Cadence Bank, the district could possibly earn up to $1.2 million
Off those 3 accounts?
off of all total accounts.
No, I'm talking about the 3 that you're talking about
He did not estimate
transferring.
the 3. So of the 3, he did not give an estimate of what we would earn off of those accounts. But being that those accounts have minimal activity, we knew that the fees would not potentially reach $4,500.
So you don't know how much interest we'll earn on 3%, but you know our fees are $4,500.
Right.
Okay. So I want to get clearance on what I'm
Jim, is
voting
that
on.
what you're saying is that we are gonna get 3%, right?
3%, but then if the
If
fees
there's a
outweigh
fee
the
and it's
3%,
not-
hell, you back, now you back in the negative.
Well,
You're playing golf.
the accounts are in sufficient enough to where we should not even have the $4,500 in fees. In fact, we should stand to earn more in interest than as opposed to fees.
Those are your 16 section funds, and there's not many transactions, maybe some
Right.
deposits.
It's
a few
16
times a
section
year.
interest, 16 section principal, and unemployment reserve.
So about how much does that total up to be?
The total of those are
Just a guess, I'm not, please.
$9.9 million.
So you want to move 9.9 mil to Cadence, and how much you keeping at Trustmark?
Approximately 30 million.
Okay. So you get 3% off of 9.9, and then, I'm just, for my understanding, I'm not asking for anybody else. 9.9, roughly 10 million, I'll just say 10
Yes,
for
sir.
for great deduction here for myself. 10 mil you're gonna move, and you're gonna get 3% off of 10 mil.
Yes.
Okay. And then the fee. So would you do me a favor, please? Only Jim Sturgis. Next year this time, is it a 3 years, or 1 year, or how long is it?
Initially, it was to be a 3-year term.
Yes, ma'am.
But since we're amending that, I don't think we're held to a 3-year term that we could possibly come back and do another RFP. We did not think it would be fair to either of the parties if we issued an RFP at this point. We just decided that since the RFP said we could split, that we would split those accounts to maintain relationships with both of those institutions.
For 3, so what, I think what Jim's asking is what's the term of this?
Correct.
What's,
We didn't lock into a 3-year term.
So it's gonna be a 1 year?
If we have to come back and do another RFP, we can.
so basically what you're saying though is we could leave it there for 2 years, we could come back in a year, we could come back in 3 years. It's basically whenever we decide to go back.
That's
Are we
right.
required by law to bid it out every so often?
Right.
Every
So
3 years.
so right now, it's
Okay,
it's
so at
24,
least we're going back in 3 years.
okay, so right now it's 24 months or 36 months?
We could potentially do it for 36 months. RFP is every 3 years. A request for proposal is done every 3 years.
Right, but we're amending this, so the one that we're amending, kind of like the security bid that happened, that one person did 100% and everybody else just didn't participate and do it right. I'm just amazed at how we're doing the banking, but we're not doing the security who did 100%. But that's for another day and another time, and maybe somebody get behind closed doors and take care of that for me. But let me just say that, and not anything on you, Ms. Hughes, let me just say that up front. and I apologize, okay? I just want to make sure the RFP that we are rescinding, it was for 36 months.
It was,
What we are doing now is for how long? That's 1 year, 2 years? Because you say we don't have to do a RFP, or we do, or something.
we hadn't signed any agreement with either of the two. The letter of acceptance from Trustmark Bank, we have not executed that.
Yes, ma'am.
Pending the vote tonight.
So are you going to make that, you and the superintendent going to make the decision on for how long? Because I just want to know how long it's going to be, because what I'm going to ask for is the longevity of the contract or RFP, that I would like to see in a year, the difference between the fee minus what the interest we receive, to make sure that, be prudent with the public's money, that this is not a shake your hand deal, this is a real deal for the kids and the school. That's all I'm saying.
Have you done a net gain analysis on this?
I have not done a net gain on it.
Mr. Chairman, I want to make a statement.
Yes, sir.
I have great respect for our superintendent and our finance officer, but they shouldn't be making decisions for this board without asking this board first. And if they're doing this deciding in a closed-door session somewhere, they need to run it by the board, even if it's a telephone call, because there may be, if we had already voted one way, now they're kind of altering things. And,
Well, I think they're bringing it back to us. I think we were presented at the last meeting this information, and our assumption was that we had done a rubric and that we'd assessed one was better than the other, but it seems like once questions started being asked, the real question is, was one better than the other? And now they've done an assessment and brought it to us. But what Jim's saying is, now that they've made a recommendation, their new recommendation is, we use Trustmark for these accounts at 1.5%. We use Cadence for these accounts. And I agree 110% with Jim that we need to see in a year where we are, so that we make sure that it's, because it might not be what it is. And also, you know, one bank that says they're not charging us anything might be charging us something.
That's correct.
And also, what Mr. Joe just said, you know, our superintendent and Ms. Hughes was not involved in that situation. So, that was so.
Yeah, they're victims of the transition.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Joe know that, you know, they wasn't doing anything out of order and letting us know. They let us know.
yeah, I remember that, Coach, and I agree with you.
All right, so what's the pleasure of the
So
board?
Let me make one point that before, again, since everybody's listening to this, you will approve, this board will approve, it won't be the superintendent or the chief financial officer that will approve any of this, so that's gonna be your decision, make no mistake. Second is, I do think, and this will be when we get down to J32, it needs to be clear as to what term this is. Is this a 1 year or a 3 year term that they've offered? Because my guess is they probably gave, I haven't seen the RFP, but my guess is the RFP probably said, we'll give you this interest rate for a 3 year commitment or this for a 1 year commitment.
You're correct.
When they vote later on tonight, it needs to be clear. Is this your point is well taken, Mr. Sturgis. It needs to be defined. This is a 1 year deal or a 3 year deal or a 2 year deal, whatever it is, it is. Because my guess is they're not offering the same rates for a shorter deal. But I think right now,
we're going to vote here in a
right
minute,
now is to rescind the
previous
awarding.
vote, and then we get back down to the other one. Do we have time for someone to go do some research on the proposals to see if there's a period on them? Or research that before we get to that?
You said the original RFP was 3 years.
3 years.
Why don't we just,
No,
1 year term.
our RFP was for 3 years, but they may have said, their proposal might have been, I can guarantee 3%, because they don't know what interest rate's gonna do in 3 years. They can't, I doubt any bank's guaranteeing 3.5% for 3 years.
why don't we do this? If we're gonna talk about it it's actually H32, not J32 in the agenda.
Thank you, because I've been looking for Jay. I thought it was just me. Thank you. I wasn't going to say anything.
So if we, let's do it this way, let's go ahead and rescind this vote with if that's the pleasure of the board, and then it may end up with the same vote in the same outcome and everything after we get through with H-32, but at least we'll have time to discuss it later. If that's,
I make a motion that we rescind the previous vote for selecting our financial service provider that was approved in the previous board meeting on June the 29th.
Second.
got a motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That motion carries.
All right, so now we're on to D1.
I
I sure the heck hope so.
We got to get all the way to
All
K
right,
tonight.
board members, you have before you board minutes from the public budget hearing meeting on June the 29th and our regular scheduled board meeting on June the 29th. Are there any additions or deletions to the minutes?
And my suggestion, Mr. Pratt, on that is when you approve these minutes with the notation being that that item that's formally approved is to be noted in the minutes that it has been rescinded by tonight's vote.
And I just had it open, it was G2, I think it was.
G2, okay.
I
Are there
believe-
any additions other than that one? I'll make that as part of my motion to approve. If there are no additions or deletions, I make a motion that we approve the budget hearing meetings and the regular scheduled minutes with the addition to the June
I'll make sure that
It's G2.
G2.
June 29th meeting, G2 is noted, make a changed note that our vote that we just previously took for C2 has rescinded that approval for selecting our institution for financial services.
Second.
How's that for a motion?
That's a heck of
All
a
in-
motion.
Got a motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. All right, let's get,
We'll take a break now?
so we're gonna move on to agenda item E1, general comments of our new superintendent. Have at it.
All right, it's been really busy. We had a great administrative retreat, day and a half of that with our wonderful leaders. Been visiting churches and everywhere I can. Spoke at a Kiwanis meeting this morning. We're planning for convocation, and most importantly, we're ready for kids to come August the 5th. I also wanted to schedule a board retreat for us since I'm not new anymore, but I've talked to Dr. Jackson at MSBA. She has the week of September the 11th through that week open, and the 21st of September. So I think it'd be a great thing for us to continue to get to know each other. I spent a lot of time with Coach and Mr. Leviza at our training and some
So
great sessions.
unless we have it on a weekend, I might do it after hours.
Sounds good to me.
Okay.
Y'all tell me whatever date is good for you, if you want me to.
So you had September the what again?
11th, 12th,
How we doing, one day? What we doing?
it's just one day.
Oh, yeah. Let's do it on the 12th.
12th is good. Mr. Leviza, that's good with you?
Yeah, I can come either day.
September the 12th.
That good with you, Mr. Okay. That's
What did we
September the
decide
12th.
on the 12th?
Yes, sir, September the 12th.
And the location?
It'll be here, and I'll
Okay.
get a time, maybe about 5, and that's good, Mr. Brown.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, that's all I have, thank you.
Boy, that was short and sweet. All right, we have the E2 item, which is a resolution. I believe Mr. Green's going to present that to us.
Good evening, Board.
Good evening.
As y'all know, and most of the community knows, Warren Central High School lost a teacher and coach this past few weeks ago. And we have adopted a resolution, and I would like to present it to y'all tonight. So the Board of Trustees of the Vicksburg Warren School District, in an effort to honor and memorialize a dedicated teacher and contributor to the children of Warren County, does hereby agree to adopt the following resolution. Whereas Isaac Chadwick McMullen departed life on July 15, 2023, after devoting 24 years of teaching the children of Warren County, impacting the students of Warren Central High School as a teacher and coach. And whereas Coach McMullen served as the head powerlifting coach, head strength and conditioning coach, and assistant football coach at Warren Central High School. And whereas Chad McMullen attended Amory High School and Mississippi State University, where he was an alumni of the Lambda Chi Alpha Epsilon Chi Zeta. And whereas Chad McMullen touched the lives of thousands of children with his passion for teaching and coaching, and displayed authentic caring for each student and player under his watch care. and his legacy of commitment and dedication has enriched those fortunate enough to know him and work with him. And whereas Chad leaves behind his loving wife, Brandy McMullen, and sons, Will, Sam, and Ben, and other family members, friends, students, and colleagues, now therefore be it resolved that the Vicksburg Warren School District hereby honors the life and work of Coach Chad McMullen, a dedicated teacher and coach, and recognizes the valuable contributions he made to the well-being of his students, players, colleagues, and community. Further, that this resolution be presented to his wife, Brandy McMullen, and their entire family. Further, that this resolution be made part of the minutes of the Vicksburg Warren School District, so ordered, this the 27th day of July, 2023. Thank you.
I move that we approve Mr. Green's resolution
Second.
honoring Coach McMullen.
Okay, I've got a motion and a second. All in favor? Opposed, motion carries.
Mr. President,
Yes, sir.
if I may we have just a moment of silence, please?
Absolutely, absolutely. We'll take a moment of silence in honor of Coach McMullen.
Amen.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Superintendent, this is simply a suggestion.
Yes, sir.
Since we are on television, it would be good that we introduce Mr. Green's new position and what he'll be held responsible for, where the public will know.
And also, what you do, Dr. McGee, because he has a new position.
Absolutely.
Let's introduce our new.
And
You're gonna do one, let's do everybody.
Thank you, Mr. I should have put it on my list, but we do have Dr. Cedric McGee, who has moved up to Deputy Superintendent, and he has been great helping me transition. And Mr. Eric Green, who is our new Associate Superintendent. And I think we've got a great team. I'm excited to work with them and looking forward to some great things. I also forgot to recognize Coach James Lewis, who received his national certification from the National Association, I don't want to say it wrong, Coach.
Run up here, Coach.
National Intercollegiate Athletic Administrators Association. He was recognized nationally as a certified athletic director. So congratulations, Coach Lewis.
Mr. AD, can you run up here a minute?
Yes, sir.
All right, yeah, we should have introduced
Yeah,
that.
we should. I'm sorry
That's
about
good.
that.
All right, so the resolution, we're on F1, our project updates. So we would ask Jason or Mark to take the podium, or both of you. All right.
And I'll start first giving you guys an update on Warren Central. As you know, progress has been slow, but they are making some progress. I'm happy to report some of the better things that have been achieved is in the gym, the fixed seating has been installed. We did finally get our overhead inspections passed in there, along with some of the mechanical equipment and moisture tests. And I believe that finally passed today, the 72 hours. And so now the wood flooring crew is to be mobilizing and come either late next week or the following week to start installation of your new gym floor.
Well, wait a minute, that floor hadn't been in there.
Correct. They're bringing it in. It has to acclimate for a week.
Okay,
So they're,
but that's behind schedule,
yes. They are,
way behind schedule.
yes. They are also, the wand door, which is your fire door separating part of your agora. I understand it finished the installation this afternoon. They're supposed to do a little test on it tomorrow morning. Hopefully that'll pass and we'll have that behind us.
What is that? Explain that. Maybe I don't.
It's a fire door that hopefully we'll never have to use.
But it's for the gym or is it for the hallway?
Hallway. But what was key for it, we were hoping to have that earlier so that we can get that shut. If you pass your overhead inspection for your mechanical, we can close that door off, protect it, and the school can have everything behind it, which would give them the cafeteria and the media center and better access to and from between A and B building, rather than those narrow corridors.
I get phone calls asking, will it be ready by the first football game?
When's the first football game?
The answer is no.
No.
You talking about the basketball court or the whole agora? No, it's not gonna be ready.
No, I'm talking about the coming and going part of it. The traffic gets tied up if you got construction going on and that type of thing.
No, sir.
Okay, thank you.
I lost my train of thought. The lawn door, the gym, and they managed today to get the front part of the curtain wall installed right at the front part of the Agora. So,
Glass also?
no, just the framing.
But the
For
glass
front.
is here?
Yes, my understanding is all glass is here. And has been here.
Will you, for the board's sake, explain the glass situation? Is that something we can, well, never mind, we'll do that later. We'll do that later.
Okay,
I saw that look. Never mind. The
yeah.
glass is in a Connex box out front.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
It's stored in a Connex on site. Any other questions?
Yeah, so, without any additional cost to the district, have we instructed the contractor to make the site presentable for students to come back on? Porta-johns in the front of the building is not appropriate. Laying everything down on the practice field,
That's been moved.
all of it's been moved.
Everything but the Connex.
And the pallets,
I just left there.
yeah, the pallets stacked 20 feet high, and
They've been moved over kind of in the corner. They're not on the practice field area.
no, they were behind the guard shacks about,
No, they're not there.
okay. And has the grass, are they gonna cut the grass or recut the grass or what?
Some of it looks like it's been cut.
Okay, because we just need to make, I know it is still a construction site, but we need to make it to where it doesn't look like we're just throwing things every free spot that we have available to. Okay.
Other questions?
I don't think so.
But I wouldn't leave.
Yes, sir. Go.
I understand. We're-
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, we through the Warren Central?
Yeah, we all are, yes, sir.
I just want to ask on Vicksburg High, on the Armory, on the side where I've seen them digging up the sidewalk, you know, because with that running of water that was washing that off on that side, was Thrasher the one who's supposed to have that done on the side of the Armory?
Lee
I think it's
Street,
related to what
Lee
you're talking
Street,
about.
Lee Street,
Yeah, this is probably related to that whole project
Right.
that's fixing to happen right there. I can brief y'all as soon as they're through.
Okay.
I just got a call today about it.
So, there's one more question about Warren Central. So when we walked through today, where are we on the warranty issues with like a building? So we still, we haven't seen your punch list. I'm sure you have a punch list of things.
There's several.
Okay.
Different portions of the buildings have been declared substantially complete and are in different phases of warranty, depending on where you are. For instance, the new academy building is probably out of the 1-year warranty.
Okay. But like the renovation of the A building itself, like, there were several instances where the quality of the epoxy paint put over the tiles, paint running down the tile. Is that on anyone's checklist? Is that, things like that still on the checklist or warranty?
There are punch list items that have not been resolved yet,
Okay,
sir.
I just wanted
That
to
is
make
true.
The
Practically all areas.
The other one was what the infill that they did for the for the lockers, looks substantially better than it ever has, but I don't know if there's anything they can do. Every 4 feet, we see you can see, if you look down it, you see the tape line. Is that something that would be on a checklist, or are we supposed to?
We've not even punched that
Okay.
yet, but yes, sir.
Okay.
And I do know that at the bottom of them,
It's,
at where your base, that had to be cleaned up.
yeah, but
And
it
you
is
have to-
substantially better than any other attempt to patch that, so
I think it looks much better.
yes.
All right, any other questions for Mark? All right, and I'll address that in a few minutes. Go ahead, Jason.
Hey, good evening, board. I have, as Mark says, I'm the keeper of the numbers. So we've got some new key positions, and I was asked to give updates where we are financially. Warren Central is obviously the last active project. We've got a few things in the district that are still bond issue related. Some cabinetry at AOI we're looking at doing. It's a couple $100s, and those type things are still out there. But the big picture is Warren Central. The total cost of the job right now is $33,473,000. That is inclusive of everything. Is Natalie in here? Maybe not. I sent her this budget this afternoon. I'm not sure she had it printed for you guys or not, but it's $33,473,000 project, and that's including construction, design fee, furniture, hazardous material, and what have you. The big thing to take away from there is that number reflects the most recent change order, which I believe is 35. that you guys have approved the last board meeting. It is not in their billing. You haven't seen it yet, but that number is inclusive of everything. And within that, this is still going back to, I believe, November of last year, maybe October, that there's still $211,491 of owner's contingency. It requires board approval to spend, but it's $211,491 that the board has set aside that is included in the $33 million for Warren Central High School specifically.
So that does not include the 100,000 that we transferred out of district contingency, or does that include that money?
The 33 million does. I believe.
So is it
we
33 or
used-
35?
It's
Total
33, total numbers, 33,473,000.
What was the 35 you just mentioned?
He didn't say 33.
Oh, okay.
And here's
I hope I didn't say 35.
Okay, so it is,
Yeah, change order number 35, I'm sorry.
oh, okay.
Yes.
I'm sorry. Okay, so 33 million is the total cost.
Yes, yes,
Gotcha.
sir.
Jason,
Yes, sir.
2 questions, please. Are we over budget on any of our items that we budgeted?
Bond issue wide.
Yes, sir.
From initial, I would say from initial budgeting from 2016 to now, there were some, but there were several that we were under, so it varies. I will tell you, big picture, Mr. Sturgis, I'm not sure if you have that whole file. I will tell you that district-wide, not including the 211 owner contingency for Warren Central, district-wide, we are still, for the entire bond issue, COPS, New Market, all of those fundings, we are still, you guys as a board, there's still $614,000 of unallocated funds, which means we are under budget $614,000 with Warren Central, the only project that is left.
I'm sorry.
Are you going to ask the same question as me? Does that include the 212?
No, sir. It is
Okay.
614 plus 211. So
Okay.
we're firmly aware that there's going to be some things at Warren Central. There may even be some district things at Warren Central that you guys won't done when we're complete. It's very common to come back and, you know what, I actually want that extra 50 feet of sidewalk or what have you. But you were 614 plus 211.
Well, excuse me, Coach, and I got one other thing. And then-
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Coach, for allowing me to ask this question. In your total 33 mil that you just spoke of,
Yes, sir.
that also includes the project management fees too?
Yes, sir. That is
So
everything.
it's a whole shebang?
Yeah, that is the testing agency that's out there testing compaction of the dirt. It is furniture, unless Mr. Green ordered something before he left.
Okay.
But it is everything at Warren Central. Minus the athletics. Athletics have their own budget.
And I'm not trying to make your job any harder than it is. Why so many delays? Weather?
At Warren Central,
Yeah.
I
We
believe
were
it's.
told last year it would be ready last year and it wasn't.
I believe weather is a factor of it. Contractor manpower is another factor of it. There were also some water lines and storm drainage under site. That was another factor of it. It was a storm of a lot of things.
We may be discussing that later.
Yes, sir.
Coach, did you have a
You're
question?
being televised so the people in Vicksburg will know what your answer is.
Well-
And we get calls continually about why Warren Central's taking so long, and we have to kind of,
There may be some things, Mr. Leviza, that there's still some discussions going on as to who's responsible for some things that don't need to be discussed in open
Thank you.
session. Because they may end up in a place we don't want them to go, but we'll discuss that at the appropriate time.
thank you, sir.
And Mr. Leviza, we all feel your pain, I promise you.
Trust us.
Coach has something.
Coach, did you have a question?
Yeah, on Jason, the building, Vicksburg High,
Yes, sir.
all the way back to H. Cook, if the front, I've asked that, I've not really gotten an answer. The steps go up each parking lot to the building.
Yes, sir.
So, because there's not a lot of parking on top, so each layer, they park, they go up steps to get to the building.
Are you talking on the Drummond Street side?
Drummond Street side.
Yes, sir.
And they never put back. I don't,
So when we did the new switchback drive, the steps in between, I do remember that. That was actually in the original design. If you
Yeah.
remember, the city of Vicksburg wanted greenery and landscape there and made us remove the concrete. If you remember, I'm going back years, right, Mark?
Yeah, we had to,
They wanted vines and shrubs and with no sidewalks, anything there.
that's why you don't have them in that intermediate parking spaces either.
Yeah.
City ordinance to keep green space.
Yes, sir.
That makes it hard on parents.
Yes, sir.
Now, when one of them have a heart attack going up them steps, we go to the county, we go to the city.
Well, there aren't step, you're saying they are not step. We need
Right.
step.
They're-
So what's to
that's-
stop
we need
us,
step.
what's to stop us from putting steps there?
That's right, yeah.
We don't have to.
Nothing's gonna stop Vicksburg Warren School District from doing it. It's- That contract's complete, correct?
Yeah.
That contract is complete.
Stairs all they want.
But we'd have to do that we probably will wait and do that with our money left over or do it in second-hand house or
We
something.
need to look at that, that's,
So Jason, are you through, Cup?
yeah.
Jason,
Yes, sir.
kind of like a Baptist preacher, I tell you, I have two things, I got a third one. Out at Warren Central, and let me say, those guys are doing an excellent job, because I don't know building A from building B. So, the question I have is, are you totally, will you get any more change orders out there, or what you all have now and gonna ask, what you have asked for, you just have to finish? Am I making sense? when I'm-
I do believe that you are going to get, as usual, you're going to get some optional change orders. There's going to be some things that you may want to paint a wall. I'm just hypothetically speaking.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking.
Yeah, I do think some of those are out there. I don't know what they are. I do know that there's some conversation about, some painting under bleachers. And again, those things are optional. Mark, you may correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think there's anything lingering out there that would stop us from finishing it.
It's the board's preference not to add anything at this time that will further delay completing the work that's currently under contract.
Because what I'm looking at is a closure here, and look like every time you get close to closure, you change something. And Warren Central is getting tons and tons and tons. And I just want to make sure one day that we have a stop sign up there,
Yes.
and you can complete what you're doing. And again, I may sound a little rough, but I'm not, but I just want to make sure that I get
You're asking-
what I'm saying, sir. Thank you.
Hey, thank you.
Any other questions for Jason?
Hey, thank you.
Thanks, Jason. All right, let's go. There's some action items that want to be discussed. Are you doing that also?
I didn't think we were going to discuss them.
You're not bringing them up? Okay.
It's up to you.
All right, so F2 is no action. All right, so we're ready for the financial report. G1, Ms. Hughes.
Good evening again.
Good evening.
So for June's report for cash flow, the estimated cash on hand at the beginning of June was $26,429,146.73. Revenue collected for the month of June, actual, $3,443,660.18. In the terms of actual expenditures for the month of June, right now, again, this is just an estimate as we are still preparing accruals for the month of June. $7,969,868.05, which would leave us with an estimated fund balance of $21,902,938.86.
Ms. Hughes,
Yes, sir.
so if I'm correct, that's like a $5 million deduct?
Yes, sir.
And where is it going?
When revenues are less than your expenditures, then it would be a matter of using fund balance.
So I was told for months and years that we had sufficient money, and now you're about to take a $5 million deduct?
Well, that would be revenues and expenditures as of this current fiscal year.
Already? Because
23.
I was told everything
I'm reporting
was,
June 23.
ma'am,
I'm reporting for June 2023.
I understand. But again, I'm saying there's a $5 million deduct, Ms. Hughes, when I was told we had money. I'm just asking, I'm old, I just want to make sure I understand.
You're asking the right question. And I understand there's some answers. I don't know if we want to get into them right now.
Oh, I'm just asking, because, I know 26 to 21, they taught me in school I could deduct on my fingers. And that turns out 5. But I do know it in my head. For the kids out there looking, I can add and subtract in my head. Let me get that straight. I was just kidding, guys. So that's all I'm asking. And again, Ms. Hughes, I know you're just stepping into this position. I get it, okay? Unfortunately, you're gonna have to, you don't have to. I would like for you to answer my dumb questions that I ask, if it's possible.
I will try my best.
Yes, ma'am. So we're taking 5 million from the fund balance that we don't, money that we don't have. So let's be correct on what I've asked for. And then you can move on, Ms. Hughes.
Yes, sir. So for June, our MAEP collections remain consistent, $2,353,450, which brings us for total collected for the fiscal year 2023, $27,942,513. For our casino collections for fiscal year 2023, $658,054.28. We received June's collection last week, and it was approximately $58,600, which will be added to that. Our ad valorem collections for 2023, $31,771,438.44. And we received our June ad valorem collection as well last week. It was $451,000. And that would be your financial report for tonight.
So Ms. Hughes, one other question. On the
Yes.
new budget that we have now, this is for the old budget, what you were reporting on with the 5 mil.
The collections.
Yes, ma'am. Will we have problems with the new budget, money-wise?
I would defer to the superintendent.
Yeah, we will eventually have to do some fund balance transfers until we align the budget to where it's not a deficit budget, to where it's balanced.
Thank you, Mr. Superintendent. Thank you, Ms. Hughes.
You're welcome.
Being in law, I'd like to move to accept the finance officer report.
I
And
second.
also, Ms. Hughes, before that, welcome to Vicksburg.
All right, got a motion then to
Second.
accept the report and second. All in favor? All opposed?
Nate Sturgis,
So noted, Mr. Sturgis. All, motion carries. All right, where are we at? Okay, so you're still, your show, Ms. Hughes, we're on G2, the accounts payable claims docket, and then G3 and G4 will follow those.
So before you, I have presented a schedule of payments that we would make to each of the vendors every month. We would like to go to a 1-month reporting or issuing of payments to our vendors, and so before you is that schedule of payments.
Ms. Hughes, would you please, I would love one every meeting, because let me tell you why. I was in a meeting and the AG, we are supposed to ask some questions off of this, the way she wants to run the show. We don't do it. We haven't done it in a while. But I want a copy of it, because even though I don't ask questions, at least I know what we have right here instead of that once a month. Because it's every month we're supposed to ask a question off of this report right here.
I'm confused, Jim, help me, because I don't know, maybe you can answer this for me. Are they asking us to do anything different on the claims docket? What's
No,
different?
it's just that is just the presentation of vendors. The claims docket is
No,
just,
We're on
presentation.
item G2, which is the accounts payable claims docket, where we're going to
Approve the payment.
approve the payments.
Which is what we have been getting, right? I thought
Yeah,
that's,
this right here,
yeah.
yeah.
So what are you asking us to do that's different, that's once a month?
How we schedule the payments out.
Okay, so what have you done in the past? Because I'm confused. I thought we already, you see what my question is?
Well, we did not pay any vendors. The only thing we did this month was do travel advances. And so those payments that you have before you are payments that you can actually question or pull.
Before they're made.
Before they made.
I like that.
And the other one, we were paying,
We were
it
looking
was
at
already done.
Yes.
And we were just saying,
Now I
okay,
understand.
which is legal. You can do that too.
There will be some that we'll still do. Travel events, we want to get teachers their money back if they go somewhere, little things like that. But the majority of them, you can question before we pay.
So we
them.
should still, so what I'm saying, Jim, is I think we should still see this.
Right.
They're just not gonna pay it, a majority of that, until we see.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's not that I want to question him, but I look real bad in orange, okay? So I'm just
Jim,
trying to
you-
take care of self.
We ain't gonna do well in the cell together.
All right, so are there any other further questions on G2? If not, can we get,
I make a motion, we approve the claims docket.
Second.
got a motion and a second? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. All right, G3, proposed budget for 2023-24.
Before you have the, in your package, you should have received the consolidated budget for the entire district proposed for 23-24. For our governmental funds, there are 4 breakouts under our governmental funds, being general, special revenue, capital projects, and debt service.
Let's see, which one is that? G3?
G3? Yes, sir.
G3. Oh, y'all decide y'all didn't want me to look at it, I didn't get one. Okay, I'll just go with what you say. That's okay, that's okay, that's okay, I can't read it now. Go ahead, Ms. Hughes, go ahead.
Okay.
You got me this time.
I'm sorry. For the general funds, we are estimating we will collect $74,349,104. Our expenditures for the general, along with some other financing sources, which would cover some of the shortages in some of the funds, comes to the expenditures $75,088,857, plus our other uses or financing sources, $741,429. We are estimating that when we make some adjustments, that we would increase in our fund balance instead of having a deficit. We would be at $26 million. For our special revenue funds, we are estimating $50,064,144. Expenditures, $317,417. We have some other financing uses there of $2,883,196, which those special revenues would have a fund balance of $2,112,877. Our capital projects are budgeted at $3,566,173. Our debt service for the year, the revenue to cover that debt service is $6,467,489. We have expenditures of $9,486,135. That $3,018,646 is our COPS and our Johnson Control combined together. And for the year, those debt service will balance out to zero. In our trust, which is our 16th section, we are estimating that we will receive approximately $153,785, which would bring us to a fund balance $4,332,989.
Is that it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, the next part of the financial report will be the ad valorem resolution for fiscal year 2023. That's G4.
You need him to approve that budget.
We had to approve that budget first.
Do we do that? Okay, all right, well, we have,
I'd like to make a motion that we approve finance officer report on the budget.
I second it, and the amount is a budget of $135,458,581.
Yes, total.
I second it.
all right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. All opposed, I didn't ask that. I'm sorry, Chief. That was, okay. All right, anyway, I'm sorry. Motion carries. Okay, the ad valorem resolution for fiscal year 23-24.
Okay, so this is a yearly resolution that we must submit to the Warren County Tax Assessor so that we can collect the ad valorem. So the resolution requests an ad valorem for fiscal year 23-24, whereas the Vicksburg Warren Board of Education meeting at its regular scheduled meeting on July 27, 2023, and whereas a public hearing for the budget for FY 23-24 was held at the Vicksburg Warren School District Administrative Office Boardroom area on June 29, 2023, and whereas a quorum of said Board of Education were present, therefore the meeting thereof was duly and properly open, and upon the recommendation of the superintendent and a motion received and seconded, the board adopted the FY 23-24 budget by the following: Leviza, Pratt, Slayton, Stevens, and Sturgis. Whereas the budget will be published in the Vicksburg Post on Friday, August 4, 2023, as required by Section 3761-9 Mississippi Code annotated of 1972, 2000 revised. Now therefore be it resolved by the Vicksburg Warren Board of Education, Vicksburg, Mississippi, that the Board of Supervisors of Vicksburg, Mississippi be and it is hereby respectfully requested to levy ad valorem taxes upon each dollar of assessed valuation appearing upon the assessment rolls of Vicksburg, including the assessment of motor vehicles, personal property, and mobile homes beginning October 1st, 2023, at a millage sufficient to produce ad valorem tax receipts, including homestead exemption receipts, during the fiscal year July 1st, 2023 to June 30th, 2024, for the support, operation, and maintenance of schools of Vicksburg Warren, as required by statute as follows. Ad valorem taxes for district maintenance, Section 37-57-105, $33,003,063. Debt service, limited tax notes, Section 37-59-101, $187,500. General obligation bond 2018, Section 37-59-1, $2,209,346.50. General obligation bond 2019, Section 37-59-1, $2,875,547.26. Limited tax notes, Section 37-59-101, 3 meals, $1,195,100. Be it that Toriano Holloway, Superintendent of the Vicksburg Warren School District, Vicksburg, Mississippi, do hereby certify that the foregoing is true and correct copy of action taken by the Vicksburg Warren Board of Education at its regularly scheduled meeting on July 27, 2023.
So moved, Sturgis. I'm gonna be 65, so my taxes, my ad valorem is going down, so I'm gonna make that motion.
Second.
Well, get one revision in there. It looks like I noted that in the resolution part, I believe that should be the Board of Supervisors of Warren County, Mississippi, not Vicksburg, Mississippi.
Okay.
So with that, Mr. Sturgis.
I'd like to restate my motion with that correction, necessary correction.
And I'd like to restate.
Got a motion second. All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much, Ms. Hughes. I know that was a long drawn out thing. Mr. Sturgis loves you because you read every word.
How you survived? You survived.
I did.
Yes, and you did quite well. Thank you.
All right, we're going to move on now to H1, our proposed consent agenda. Is there any items to be pulled?
Yes. I'd like to pull, I'm sure Jim's got some. I'll find mine here.
While y'all looking, H18.
H18, okay. Oh, mine is H25.
Okay. Mr. Sturgis?
Yes. Mr. President, you didn't have to do me like that. H 13, 14, 16, 19, 21, but we've talked about H 32, I think, so we don't have to pull that one, right?
We do have to-
We don't,
we do have
we
to
still
pull
need
it.
to pull it?
You pulled it
H
here?
32,
Okay.
and I got a J3, but I don't even know what J3 is.
Jay,
And a J3, I might have to.
Is that federal program?
that's a personnel job title change.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
Oh, I'll go in exec on that one,
Okay.
please.
So do we need to pull it from the agenda?
Yes, sir, I'd like to, because it's personnel is what I want to,
Okay, so it doesn't need to be, so you need to pull
J3.
J3. Okay. Any other items to be pulled?
I do have a couple, we got 19, I believe, already, 31, 32, and 33. I believe you pulled 30, somebody pulled 32, so
Yeah.
31 and 33 can be added to that.
Okay, if I could get a motion to.
I get to hear.
Go
I
ahead.
make a motion to approve the consent agenda with the exclusion of H13, H14, H16, 18, 19, 21, 25, 31, 32, and 33.
And can you add, I'm sorry, J2 also?
Oh, and
J2 and J3.
J2 and J3. That's my motion.
Got a motion and a second to accept the consent agenda with the exception of those stated items. All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries. All right, let's go down the line. Mr. Sturgis, H13.
yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. President. My famous question is, I see where its funding source is coming from, but I miss how much they were asking for. I'm sorry. On the front, normally they tell us on the front page, I'm getting 30, 100, or
Is this for Renaissance?
this say,
Yeah, this is,
I got a quote.
Is this for Renaissance?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Curriculum Renewal
Yeah,
Renaissance.
you're looking at the quote. You're asking how much they're really gonna do?
Yeah, I want to know what we're going to approve.
Okay.
Yeah, how much we're going to approve. Or are we just going to give them a gold star and say, go for it?
So,
Total cost 120,000.
there's
I see
another
that as
total
a,
cost of
that's a quote.
$152,000. Who's on that can talk to us about this?
Ms. Horn.
Ms. Horn? Yeah, the quote summary, grand total of 126,776, but later in the document it's 153,000.
That is, the one.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, there we go, yeah. How much are we fit to spend?
Good evening. The amount, the 120,000 is the amount of the, Renaissance AR program.
So the total amount is 120,000 you asking to be approved?
Yes, the 120,676.54.
126,7654.
Yeah, that's what's on the first page of the quote. 120,676.54.
The confusing thing is that second
Second
150
quote.
is the second
That's the
quote.
second quote. The 152,
Yes, sir.
that's the second quote.
Oh,
You
okay.
get two quotes because of the cost.
Okay, and she's asking for the 120.
Yes, yes, sir.
And that's for a year? That's per year?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'd like to make a motion that we approve,
Can you add the addendum?
sir.
Can you add the addendum when you make your?
I don't, no, sir, I haven't seen.
Can you add the field, they sign the addendum?
The addendum, okay. I'd like to make a motion that we approve H13 with an addendum to be attached
That's our
to
district's addendum.
H13.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
please.
They got a motion and a second to approve H13. All in favor?
Thank you.
All opposed? Motion carries. H14,
I think we talked about that earlier. Wasn't that the bank stuff?
no.
No.
Oh, that's something different? Oh, okay.
H14 is,
Oh, yeah, okay. Thank you, Mr. President,
yes, sir.
for keeping me in line. Not like my wife, but you do pretty good. Ms. Hughes, you're gonna remember my name one day.
Yes, sir.
I see you're asking permissions for bids for, and please give me some clarification on the security, what's going on with it, because we have the red carpet bowl that's coming up, and as of now, we have no security, to my knowledge. So would you enlighten me on what's going on, and what are we doing to get security for, we have our SROs, I get that. And what are we doing with that also, please? Because I don't see it included in what's here now.
So that RFP has been released. It was released and it is running and set to end on August 4th, with bids to be open on August 8th.
So the current, I think what Jim's hitting at is the current contract we have for those services. Are we covered?
Do we have a,
Security.
No, we do not, but we are going to ask for a special call meeting before that so you can approve. That's one of the things we want to get approved.
Yes,
That's
sir.
security, so we'll have it.
So the current ends when?
it should have ended.
It
because we-
ended, to my
yeah.
understanding, June 30th. And
Right.
at the last board meeting, it was asked to have it thrown out and re-released.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
I have placed that back out, and it is out, and we are accepting bids at this moment.
For security.
So as
For
soon as we
security.
open
But this
those
one here is
bids-
not for security. This one, yeah.
So do we have security for red carpet bowl?
Yes.
Okay, and who is that?
We don't know yet. It depends on who replies.
Oh, when is red carpet bowl?
August
25th, yeah.
Oh, what is this? Oh, this July?
Yeah, it's July.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Hughes. For that, I'd like to approve, H14. Yeah, let's get this waste disposal. We don't want to be like Jackson.
Okay, I've got a motion and a second to approve H14. All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries. H16, Mr. Sturgis.
Thank you. Let's see what I have here. Is there, and let me say that my phone has been messing up. My children make me take it out when I cut grass, and you know how it gets hot, it won't work anymore.
Is that flip?
Or I may have a cheap
Is that
phone.
flip phone?
No, I need to go back to my cheap flip phone. But is Ms. Bounds on the line?
Good evening, Mr. Sturgis.
Hey, Ms. Bounds, my phone is starting to work now, the battery cooled down. But I have a couple of questions for you, if I may, please.
Yes, sir.
Is there money involved in this annual MDE contract? Because if it is, I didn't see it. And where is it coming from?
That is our reimbursement for our breakfast program, our lunch program, and our after-school snack program.
Yes, ma'am.
So, yes, sir, there's money involved.
Thank you. And how much is that, Ms. Bound?
It's all based off of participation.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm estimating for the school year 2023, 324, a little over 3 million, or right at 3 million for breakfast, and I believe 6.2 or 4 for lunch. And after school snack is a little bit smaller, it's right at 100,000.
So you're not asking us to furnish 9 million, roughly 100,000?
No, sir, that's all
Oh,
of the
okay.
reimbursement that is
Oh.
federally funded from USDA.
Okay, because we got a fund balance that's going down quick.
No, sir, that's
okay, I just
all my, federal funds
Okay.
that comes from the government.
But we are receiving money, we're not giving money, correct?
Sir, yes, sir.
That's all I wanted to hear you say. But let me ask you one other question whilst I have you on the phone. Have you issued the uniforms that Dr. McGee and you and I talked about? Because it's been a problem. It's been over 3 years now, and I mean, pretty soon they're gonna have some holes in their uniforms walking around.
Yes,
Has
sir,
that been
some were
corrected?
issued, and we're getting ready to reissue for 23-24 school year.
Okay. So it has been issued. Okay, that's wonderful. And what about the small utensils and all of that? You took care of that, right?
Yes, sir, all of that has come in except for a couple small pieces that were very back ordered.
Okay. So this is not part of the what I'm asking on 816, but just one deal. When will you be issuing out the uniforms so I can make sure I ask the next time it happens that it's done?
It will probably they will probably get ordered through our, district vendor
Yes, ma'am.
in September.
Okay.
So hopefully we should have a quick turnaround. I can give you an update on that turnaround once the vendor lets me know if you would like.
Yes, ma'am. So by October, they should have their new uniforms and their tennis shoes or whatever they wear, correct?
Yes, sir. They get their shoes beforehand.
Yes, ma'am.
Because we allow them to go out and purchase them, and they bring me the receipts, and we reimburse them for the amount that you and I agreed upon.
Yes, ma'am. Well, I appreciate you taking care of those uniforms for me. With that, Mr. President, would you approve 816?
Got a motion on 816 and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Coach, 18's yours.
Athletic Director Lewis and my principal, Dr. Allen, we have, I see here where we're going to let a entity use our track field. All I would like to see done on both Vicksburg and Warren Central, that the principal and the AD work hand in hand, and that whoever it is, we have a sign-off sheet where we check to make sure everything is where it's supposed to be and how it's supposed to be, and what should be done on that entity or that field or whatever that we let them use.
So what you're saying, Coach, is there certain things they can't do on the track,
Like I said, that's what I'm talking about.
cars going on
AD,
it? I mean, we need to have that in a policy, one that everyone in our schools knows.
Yes, and the AD and the principal, as long as they together, what's going on,
Yeah.
I have no problem, as long as they know who's on there, what they supposed to do on there, and how they should lead it.
Well, I thought for a long time that we needed a policy change to address use of the facilities, and we may talk about that.
Yeah, 'cause
And Coach,
it's not in there, but I think that's a good idea.
if I'm not also mistaken, there is they're covered with insurance in here?
Is that a motion, Coach?
That's just, well, not a motion, I'm just,
Information only?
based on,
I was gonna help you get it on going.
I appreciate that the first time we brought it up, but we got such nice facilities, we want to just make sure that we cover it on both ends there.
Yeah. All right, do you want to make action on H18?
I'll make a vote that we, put that with the AD and the principals at both schools.
I would say this, Coach, anytime anybody submits a use of facility to me, it's always discussed with myself on the building principal, even before I load it forward.
Great. That'd be,
Okay, can I get a motion to approve H18?
yeah, I'd like to make a motion that we.
Second.
All right, got a motion to second to approve H18. All in favor?
Aye.
And Coach, I believe we will readdress this as part of
Yeah.
policy.
Yeah,
Right.
we need to.
All right, Mr. Sturgis,
Yes, ma'am. Miss Bound? Hello? Can you hear me now?
A little louder, Jim.
But I guess I got no answer on it. Hello? Miss Bound? She stepped away, I guess.
you want to hold that one off and go
Yes,
to
sir.
31?
Yes, sir, please.
Was that question for me, Mr.
Hey,
Sturgis?
yes, ma'am. How you doing, Miss Bounds? I was asking, can you hear me now? Okay.
I can. I'm sorry, I stepped away for a moment.
Yes, ma'am. That's what I told him. On this one, is this the same deal with reimbursement, or this says a subscription, but it doesn't have, are we paying money out on this one?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so how much
This
is?
is, our annual subscription / renewal.
Yes,
For our
ma'am.
computer program, which allows us to have a program for front of the house and back of the house, which is our point of sale system that we need to be able to collect
Yes, ma'am. How much is it, Miss
our
Bounds?
numbers to send to the State Department for reimbursement.
Yes, ma'am.
And then the back of the house is what we utilize to menu plan.
Yes, ma'am.
And then we also have a program that is Meal Viewer that is attached to our website that allows the parents to see what we are serving our student body.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
then we have the Heartland Meal Paying System. So this covers us from front to back.
Yes, ma'am. How much you asking for, Miss Bounds?
I believe it's right at 21,000.
Yeah.
If we went out and got quotes, it would probably be
This one like
somewhere around the upper 40.
Okay, because you have a renewal quote here of 434.50, but I don't know, I guess when, I'm just not guessing. I'm just wanting to know how much we need to approve. So
It's
you,
just for that amount. I
the,
think I was looking at the wrong one
okay.
next to me. I
24,000.
apologize.
So it's the 434.50?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I just want to make sure
That
that,
covers all those programs for us.
okay, now the only reason I'm asking, it's normally on the front page and I can I won't have to ask all these dumb questions. And where's it's coming from your budget?
Yes, sir. It comes from our federal budget. It
Okay.
does not come from the school district budget.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, so I'd like to make a motion that we approve H19 for $24,434.50.
Second.
With addendum,
Sir?
with addendum again, I think they're waiting on the addendum on this one.
Okay, and with the addendum included.
Second.
It was emailed to Miss Kathy about 10 minutes ago. I was waiting for Heartland to return it to me.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Bounds. I got a motion.
You're
and a
welcome.
second. All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries. It's H21 is yours, Mr. Sturgis?
It is? Oh,
Be show
okay.
is.
Ms. Horn,
Yes, sir.
Jim Sturgis here. I haven't met you. It's nice to talk to you. Question for you here. We've been doing a lot of PDs that I've talked about probably since I've been on this board. And my question is, does this coincide with the PDs that are being done at different schools?
This particular item is for our benchmark assessments, and these are the assessments that we use at the end of each 9 weeks to kind of check where our students are as far as the standards that were tested each of those 9 weeks. And so there is a PD portion that is attached to that will assist them in learning how to use Master Connect, which is the actual platform where the assessments are taken from, because they also have a test bank that's available for teachers.
So eventually, one day, we will, once we run out of our sugar high on the federal government money, we'll start using you all, correct?
I think this, though, if I'm not mistaken, I don't mean to interrupt. My understanding is there is PD in this, but a majority of this, correct me if I'm wrong, is for the actual giving an assessment at the end of each 9 weeks. if we do.
The use of the platform and the actual assessments,
It's like
yes.
software license.
This, we will always need this.
Right.
This is critical. This gives us information to inform the instruction in the classroom. This one we'll always need, but to your point, some of the PD will shrink.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Superintendent.
Yes.
But most of this, correct, is most of this, do you know the breakdown of how much of the 146,000 is actually the software licensing versus the professional development? Because I think,
Kind of hard to tell.
yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of
agree with
hard.
you.
I didn't see any of that.
But we have two quotes here, one for 146,799, and then a second one for,
The PD is only $2,200, online PD.
All right.
So majority of it is that.
That's what I thought.
software.
I just making sure.
And the license, student's license,
That's where, because
Okay.
they do it on the first, that's where most of your cost is.
And this is matched to the state, to our state.
This is the important one right here.
Yeah,
yes.
okay.
okay. So with that, thank you, Mr. Superintendent. With that, and thank you, Ms. Horn. With that, I'd like
You're
to
welcome.
approve H21, please.
got a motion and a second to approve H21. All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries. Mr. Pratt, H25.
H25, I think we pull this one every year. So I guess at one point, it's really not a question about the contract. It looks like it has the addendum. Well, I'm looking for the addendum, hold on. But at one point, I thought that this was going away. Can you explain a little bit what we're using them for? I'm not being critical, I'm just asking. And why I thought at one time we were moving away from this, but maybe we're not.
Yes, sir, we are. We're moving to having a network engineer on staff.
Okay.
But in the meantime, we offered a 6-month contract to Microsystems to keep the continuity of our network.
Because they're currently doing it now.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Okay,
sir. So that in the change, we don't lose any services.
okay. That's all the question I have unless anyone else has anything. No. I make a motion, we approve H25.
Second.
Motion is second. All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries. All right, Briggs, you had H31.
Yes, that needs an addendum to it. That's a new one, and it just doesn't have an addendum attached.
So we just need to take action and address the
So,
addendum.
yeah, but if you're inclined to approve it, just approve it subject to them entering into our addendum.
Anyone have any other questions on that one?
On 31,
H31.
just to add the addendum? You mean make a motion that we approve H31 as long as an addendum is attached and signed?
Second, Sturgis.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries. All right, H32, you pulled it, Jim, so you can have that, or we can just do it as a group.
H32.
That's the.
Oh, that's what we talked about earlier, was a depository.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to rehash what I already talked about. I think we kind of solved it early on.
But we need to approve this now.
We got to approve, so we're approving
Oh,
the
well,
diversity of
but,
those deposits.
yes, sir. But the problem goes with the amount of time.
If we did the RFP as a 3-year, we need to approve it as a 3-year. So nobody can say we did anything different than what we put out there for proposals.
Okay.
That's my recommendation to the board.
Okay, so you want to do it for a 3-year? And, okay, and then, so Ms. Hughes, a year from now, you'll let me know if the fees outweigh the whatever from the 3 accounts that we are moving out and all of that. Because one gives no fees, the other one gives fees. One gives a higher interest rate, the other one gives a lower interest rate. And, okay, and so that's what I'll be asking for, the fees and how they coincide with what we return on the money, ROA.
So
I know a little bit.
I do have another question. Jim, you might be able to answer this. But what about so let's say we get a year in and we do our analysis, and I'm just going to say Bank A, not use any of these examples here, is we're getting a great return on those, and we want to move an account from one to the other, do we have that flexibility? So if we get a year in and realize that Trustmark's giving us a better
You
option.
said Bank A.
Pardon?
I'm just saying.
I think the RFP allows you that latitude, and I could be wrong.
Does it allow us to make changes or not? Once we agree to this, we're agreeing to give them those accounts for
I
that
think
period
we
of
locked
time,
in.
or-
In essence, we're not accepting the RFP because we decided to do away with it. So the superintendent has proposed to, let's just try it for three years, but if the board deems it necessary, they could say, do it 1 year, because we have not signed any agreement with either of the banks, to do it for a 1-year term and see what the investment happens to bring back to the district.
And that is a point taken, because we did deviate a little bit from the RFP.
So as long as it doesn't affect their bid.
Well,
They may have bid
that,
it for 3 years.
right, as Mr. Attorney had mentioned earlier.
Well, I tell you what.
Why don't you look at it?
Let me look at the RFP. I don't think I've seen the RFP. I'd like to look at it before y'all make the final decision tonight, because I want to answer those kind of questions. There
Are
could
we
be
under the
language
gun
in
to
it.
make a decision or
I'd
not?
like to make a motion that we table this until the attorney,
What's our time?
We'll have a special call within a couple of weeks, so I don't know, we should have enough time.
I mean, I might do
Yeah.
it quickly tonight.
Well, we can do it when we do the security and everything, we'll just do a special call and take care of those few items. That'll give you about a week or so to look at it.
Well,
So-
in the meantime, I'll send the RFP tonight, if you want to go ahead and take a
Copy,
look at it.
Just y'all need to know those answers about, are there outs, are there, there could be penalties if you get out early.
Right.
You need to know what it is.
And we walked into this, so I didn't
I know,
get a
I
chance
know.
to read it, so I apologize for not having.
So you'll make a motion to
So I like-
table it?
Did you
I
make
like-
a motion to table?
yes, sir, I'd like to make a motion that we
Second.
table H32.
Second.
Got a motion and a second to table H32, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. And Briggs, 33?
33 is another one that needs an addendum.
I make a motion, we accept H33 as long as an addendum is completed and signed.
All right,
Second.
got a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. All right, we're going to J2, Mr. Sturgis.
Jay?
It's mine.
Oh, that was yours, wasn't it?
You got
Yeah.
J3, right?
I have 3, yes, sir.
Two things, there's an Alcorn MOU and a Walden MOU. Alcorn looks fine, with the exception of a hyphen they've got between Vicksburg and Warren that could be removed. The Walden one, they did sign an addendum, well, they signed it, but it's not quite complete at the top. And the thing that concerned me, I mentioned this to the superintendent the other day, just for food for thought, and especially if anybody's participating in this program, but there's requirements in here about adhering to the Minnesota, I'm looking for it, the Code of Ethics for Minnesota teachers and the Ohio Principal Code of Ethics and Standards. And I just want to point that out to the board, because that, I don't know anything about Minnesota's Code of Ethics or Ohio's Principals Code. But I think anybody that's participating in this program, if you approve it, that ought to be very much with the neon sign pointing to it, because they're subjecting themselves, even though our agreement's going to be construed according to Mississippi law, the participants will be participating under whatever their codes are, and it just concerns me a little bit. So I pointed out for your consideration. And I don't know do you know who's, I think we've done something with them before.
Yeah, Mr. Green, I think it may be only 1 or 2 people that's doing this, and their code of ethics is similar to ours. They've got to Mississippi Professional Educator Code of Ethics, but I don't think we have many people going through this program. On the other side of that, I'd hate to stop somebody from getting their degree.
And it's the other thing I noted too, it's the Riley, the addendum is signed by the Riley College, which looks like it's a part of the Walden University. I think it's actually probably Riley College, but they use the Walden name, with the way I read their overall agreement. So just stuff for participants to be aware of if you do decide to approve this.
Dr. Little?
I would just say, is it possible that if we ask Walden, if their, students, once they come to us, they sign the Mississippi Code of Conduct as well, meaning they have 2 sets of conduct.
Well, they already have to do
related
that.
to, and then, of course, they're not getting, they don't receive a Mississippi license initially, they have to receive their state license and then have that, reciprocated for the Mississippi. So, that may be, if you will allow, I would be willing to talk with the person that I've been communicating with to see if they would agree to have them sign the Mississippi Code, as well.
Would that make it too, I mean, what, that's a lot. Yeah.
Because when they get their degree, they're gonna have to follow the Mississippi
Yeah, I mean,
Code of Ethics.
Yeah.
So what do we need to do, guys?
Do we just want to approve them?
If you're fine with approving, I just want people to be aware of that.
Okay.
They're gonna participate.
I make
in
a
the
motion
program,
that we
because it's not a
approve
Mississippi,
J2.
And also for them to complete the top of the addendum.
And for the Walden University, for the top of the addendum to be completed before executed.
Second.
I got a motion second for J2, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. And Mr. Sturgis, J3, you wanted to,
Yes, sir, I'd like to go in executive session talking about performance, personnel matter.
all right, so we will table that one until executive session. All right, and we
Please.
know that takes care of all the consent agenda items. Now we need to go to just discussion, the MSBA 2023 legislative policy revisions. Dr. McGee?
That title should just be for our district policies. That's the one that we review every month, just to make sure we're reviewing those. So there's no action needed on those policies for this month.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Thanks.
Oh, we got L1, 16th section. Ms. Hughes, is that you too? Need to get you some roller skating.
I would just say as presented on the lease and upcoming payments.
Okay,
Ms. Hughes, one thing on the residential, well, all of them, period, have they been reassessed?
I think that documentation, are you speaking of the,
The only reassessments would be on, you're talking about for rates would be the ones that are gonna be in excess of 10 years. And they, to my knowledge, for instance, that you see that mid-continent, we just did, y'all just approved last month, I think, an assignment to Black Bear transmission. And those are supposed to be being reassessed at least every 10 years on those, Mr. Sturgis.
So none of these properties we need to worry about at this particular time?
That one 25-year lease would need to be reassessed.
Okay.
Yeah, periodically. And
So should we approve
there
it?
should be a trigger. Ms. Bridges should have in her office, that's part of what I think she keeps up with. If the time is up on that 10 years to know it's time to get that one reappraised.
So the ones that are late.
You don't have to take any action on these tonight. This is just for your information.
Oh, okay, okay.
But the question I have
Thank
is,
you.
it's due on the first, is that a new one, that very first one? Is that a new one, and they just were invoiced for it and hadn't paid it, or?
well, she said that some were coming in, so she had mailed them prior to July 1st and they hadn't come. So it's possible that she could have received that payment before this was submitted to the board for board docs.
Ms. Hughes, you say check in the mail?
It could be
Oh,
possible.
boy. I've heard that a lot of times.
The board docs were due earlier in the month, so it could be possible she could have received that.
So this is just for information only, correct?
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion, we approve L1, please.
You don't have to take.
Oh,
action.
okay, good.
It's just,
I retract my motion.
it was so eloquently stated there. So we're gonna go to L2, which is a renewal of a right-of-way easement lease and appraisal.
Right, so the information that was presented is that Mr. David Wansley is requesting for renewal of that lease for an additional 25 years to begin on October 30th, 2023 and expire October 30th, 2047.
David Wansley will not be around to see the end of this lease, but he's a good friend of mine. Anyway,
How much is the lease?
$440 a year.
Will it get reassessed at some point too, or?
I'm asking them. It's been, or it has? It
Yeah,
has.
this one just got
Yeah, it
reassessed
did.
Oh, okay.
for the renewal, and, it went up to what, I can't remember what it was, it went up to 440. It's a small, it's just a little, term row almost.
Yes, sir.
It was reported, or the effective date on the appraisal was May 3rd, 2023, so it was just done.
Good. Okay.
All right, any other questions on that? All right, we got a
Mr. Wansley's been a
We need to make a motion on that.
leaseholder for years and years.
Yep.
Because I've been on the board 18 years, and he comes in every year, and he pays his way. He's a good farmer, and I know him personally. If you need a motion to approve that, I'll sure go with it.
Fire away.
All right. I move that we approve Mr. Wansley's request.
Second.
Got a motion and a second to approve L2. All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries. And L3, timber sale bid acceptance.
Yes, so the sealed bids were accepted on May 25th, 2023, and it is the recommendation of Casey Reddick that the board approve the offer from SWS Veneer and Timber LLC, and that we will get a performance bond in the amount of 5%, not to exceed $5,000 of the bid within 30 days from the receipt of the acceptance of this bid.
Do we remember if this was a select cut, clear cut?
I don't have any idea.
Okay. Can someone just for informational, can someone
Do we need to take action on that?
Yes.
Okay.
make a motion, we approve the timber sale
L3.
awarding to SWS Veneer for $127,789.00 for 16 sections, Township 8 North, Range 4 West.
Still a second, Coach?
Second.
All right, got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much. All right, can I get a motion to go into closed session?
Make a motion, we go into closed session to determine the agenda for executive session.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.